Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. It's time to continue on the No Infantry Campaign Challenge on Ultimate General Civil War. And by no infantry, I mean no mainline infantry units. I still use skirmishers. I still use other types of foot soldiers, just not main infantry brigades. I'm using the J&P Rebalance mod, and I have done a video on how to install that. If you're interested, you can just search that on my channel. You'll find it. We're going into a battle that's kind of unique, and I expect to be kind of difficult with the No Infantry Campaign challenge. Some of these battles are easier because of the nature of the army that I have. Others are harder, and this is one I expect to be harder because we have to defend a static position behind fortifications against a massively larger force. Now, since I've got 25 brigades in this corps, not 24, it's going to leave somebody out, probably one of the artillery units. So I'm probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 13,000 men. He's going to have more guns than me, certainly going to have more men than I do, but I'm hoping through a combination of quick movement and kind of shifting my landscape depending on where the attack's coming from and a heavy use of artillery to defend. I'm hoping I'll be able to do this, so we'll see. All right, so this is what I've chosen to go with to start. I'm not taking all of my artillery. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of artillery not going to be in here at the start because I need as many men on the line as I can possibly get. We'll bring in the other artillery as we get the opportunity to. It gets pretty tricky here because of the nature of these fortifications. It's just, it's hard to cover everything properly without giving something up somewhere. I think we'll go ahead and occupy those ones there. I'll throw in the skirmishers back here. And we just kind of have to watch for where he's going to attack first. I don't want to occupy this little salient down here. It's just too much area to try and deal with. And for the most part, I'm not sure I want to fill these areas either, but for now, I think we will, with the idea that eventually I'll probably have to look elsewhere. We'll just kind of adjust based on what the enemy does. I think I'm going to throw these guys up there. Now, one concern I have about this battlefield is my artillery protection, because he's going to have such an advantage in manpower that if I move my artillery up to the place where they can do counter battery fire to deal with his artillery, I probably run the risk of him breaking through my lines and getting at my own artillery before I have a chance to really do anything to counter it or to get them moved out of the way. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm also thinking I probably, at least for now, need to move Ransom over here. I don't need a lot on this side, at least at the start, because most of the attacks come from this side at first. So as of now, numbers are pretty even, but it's going to dramatically change before this thing's over. So mostly, unlike most battles where my first goal with artillery is to kind of use it like it's World War II aircraft and try to establish air superiority before I worry about using my aircraft to fight on the ground. Same idea with the artillery. Usually I do counter battery fire with the idea of taking out his artillery first, but in this particular fight, because of the numbers I'm going to be up against and because of his ability to be able to break through and wreak havoc on my lines if he concentrates in any one place, because of that, I'm mostly going to use the artillery to protect my lines. But if I see an opportunity to go after his artillery, I'll certainly use it. And I have to be careful because if he gets in any place where he's able to hit me in the flank, he's very quickly going to drive me out of these fortifications. So I've got to protect those wherever possible. That's one of the reasons why I'm sending Ransom as kind of a reinforcement. Send my general up that way, and we're also going to go ahead and shift these guns because it seems like my extreme right is where this attack's going to commence. Alright, so far so good, especially if he just sits right there, because he's in range of both my artillery and my sharpshooters. You can see 3-star units already appearing. These ones are 2 stars. Nothing coming on the left yet. We'll go ahead and speed things up for a minute. Alright, we can see his first 2 pretty large batteries. Alright, so far I've lost 30 men. Gotta be from his artillery. Oh no, he actually got a couple of hits on my sharpshooters up here. That's my 3-star unit too, so I've got to be awfully careful. In fact, I'm going to pull them out of that fortification because they're stretched out a little bit more than I'd like. He just got his first batch of reinforcements, so now he's got me better than 2 to 1. And he's going to start probing on my left flank now. And if he gets really ambitious with these mounted units, he could ride right through those sharpshooters. Eventually, I'll probably pull this outer perimeter back to over here. Alright, he's bringing in the guns close to get them in range, which means they're also in range for me. And now we'll start counter battery fire. And if he's going to move further to the south, I'm going to go ahead and scoot these sharpshooters up and allow them to shoot as well. We can very quickly neutralize that battery. I'm going to have to keep a zoomed out view for a good bit of this battle just to keep an eye on things. Alright, now we start hitting the other battery. These 10-pounders can help protect the line by hitting the infantry. So far so good. Again, I'm concerned about these lines, and I don't think I'll hold them for a real long time. I upgraded 95th rifles. They're now using SF 1861s. I don't think they were before. A couple of my 1,000-man skirmisher units have actually upgraded to Spencer repeating rifles now. We've got Braxton with some of those. He could actually kill General McClernand right now if you're really lucky. I think these generals have a number of hit points before they get killed. There's some Spencers right here as well. Pretty much everybody else has those SF 1861s. Alright, counter battery fire is doing their job. $22,000. He's lost about 3,000 men. I've lost about 50. Taken out 60 guns already? Is that really true? Wow, that seems like a lot. I'm wondering if that's accurate or if that's just a kind of a weird number where the guns didn't start at 180. Sometimes that happens. Alright, we gotta be careful over here. He could make some noise if he gets too close with too many men at once. I should be getting my reinforcements pretty soon. I don't know where Braxton's going, but I don't like it. Oh, here come the reinforcements. Ask and you shall receive. Alright, so it's a lot of artillery, plus a unit of sharpshooters. We're going to throw those sharpshooters right here for now, as well as these 10-pounder Blakeleys. The rest of this artillery we're going to send probably right here for now, as I plan for what I know will eventually be an attack from the south. We should be able to bring these sharpshooters up a little bit, although I do worry some about his artillery right there. But I'd at least be able to get in on Bowen's flank a little bit. Nice. Just got to be careful he doesn't move Griffin up. No attacks on the south yet. So far, he hasn't gotten close enough for O'Hare's Ohio Outlaws, either the 24-pounders, to be used effectively, but that's good. The main concern I have to have is him getting too close, because then he can cause melee combat, which I'm not really very well equipped for. Still 4 hours to go. I know he's going to get more reinforcements. Now it looks like he's got most of them now. He's up to about a 23,000 man advantage, and he's still got 45 more guns than I do. So that tells me that with 32,000 men, and I can't see most of them, that he's still got a lot of men moving behind the lines and he's preparing for a big attack somewhere. The only question is whether or not he's mounting men to come in this way, or if he's sending them all up here. If he's sending them all up here, I'm going to have some trouble. The only way he can win this is if he concentrates everything in one spot, because I wouldn't be able to hold back from that. All right, we got to get this artillery. Let's move these guns up. These 4-inch siege guns, and get them in range. I'm going to go ahead and bring these 20-pounders down too. These Anzac diggers are also 20-pounders, so we'll get them moved up. Now here's where I've got to be careful as I move these very valuable guns forward. I have to be careful that he doesn't decide that's the moment to launch an attack, because I could lose those. So I've got to protect against that. But I've got to neutralize them because they are just laying in the centers right now. Being attacked from the south. Here it comes. Alright, we've got to be careful here. I may need to drop back before too long. Alright, 4-inch siege guns. Let's hit these guys. Anzac diggers, if I park them here, that should be close enough. Alright, we got our 10-pounder Blakeleys now. They can start getting some damage done at range. Oh, Anzac diggers are still just out of range from there. I really don't want to move them any closer. Alright, here comes an attack on the south. And he's got artillery down there too. So we're going to get this artillery in line down here, and once I do that, I think we'll drop back. Or maybe we'll be dropping back now. Wow, he's hitting me hard too. Elders getting lit up. We're going to send Ransom down here. We're going to send these sharpshooters over. Good night. Survived that initial attack. Now it gets interesting because now we get the other artillery in position. Now is when we probably need to drop these big guns back. Because I don't have really a backup plan for this line. We'll keep Ransom right there. Elder needs to recover. All right, 3 hours to go. Let's pause for a second. I just want to see kind of the lay of the land a little bit. All right, so he's still got me by about 21,000 men, almost 22,000. And we've almost evened out the number of guns. He's still got me by 16 guns. I've lost 500 men, inflicted about 7,000 casualties. All right, let's continue. This is where I start to get a little nervous now because he's finally bringing the majority of his force into combat. And any breakthrough could really just mess the whole thing up. Hopefully the longer this goes and the more casualties I inflict, the more stable the situation is going to become for me. Comes a 3-star unit with 1,700 men. This could be a problem. Thankfully, I've got a lot of artillery on the line now. Just like that, Braxton's going to get knocked off the line. Guinness is going to pay for it. Don't mess with those 3-star units though, man. They're pretty tough. Especially occupying this fortification is just always kind of a hazard because it's really long. There we go. Took out about 400, about a quarter of McGinnis's men. All right, Inzac diggers. Let's hit this artillery battery right here. Here comes another 1,600 man brigade. This time it's a 2-star. And I'm not going to occupy these fortifications. Alright, still 3 hours to go. He's got me by about 20,000 men now. And exactly the same number of artillery pieces. artillery's having a hard time causing damage in these woods. I'm gonna bring these 20-pounders over here. I'm gonna try and hit this battery. Got him down to 93 guns now. We just took out another 20 of them. Still not... these 20-pounders will hit that guy. Which I can probably get him. My sharpshooters too. Without endangering myself unless Woods advances. Oh. Yeah, we definitely got to deal with that battery. Feels like the threat is greatly diminished on my right now. Just in time for me to get the 20-pounders over here. My skirmishers, my sharpshooters drove off that battery. It's alright. This still seems like the greatest threat. Although he's just got about a 17,000 man advantage now. So it's about a 3-to-1 total. Ferrero's about to cease to exist. Bye-bye. We just have that much more artillery over here now, that's all. Move these guns up just a hair and I can target this brigade. Oh, he's going to move it back in. Don't back up too much, Sims. Down to 15,000 men advantage. You can see how quickly his casualties are racking up, and he's also down to just 59 guns. He was never able to mount an attack all at once. Still, to this, even at this point, the number of men down here, if he would just charge into me, he could push through this thin line and start hitting all that artillery back there. Although he doesn't know what I have behind there. Let's get over here and replenish them. Alright, Anzac Diggers, you hit that last large battery he's got back there. Now we're targeting that battery. And his advantage is now just under 14,000 men. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit now. I've mentioned this before, but occasionally it actually helps to go to the fastest speed because sometimes it's easier to notice subtle shifts in the enemy's strategy as far as where his line is. He's hitting his sharpshooter. That's the first time he's gotten that close. Sometimes little things you don't notice, you start to notice when you go faster. Yeah, we got to stop trying to occupy those fortifications. That's just not working out. I'm going to drop these sharpshooters out. Throw in the 95th rifles right there. Things are starting to get quiet on the line now. 12,000 man advantage. About 13. Anzac diggers have lost 5 men. I have them really close to the front so they can target the other artillery. That's the first time they've lost more than 1 man in a battle. He's down to just 19,000 men, only 32 guns left. I haven't lost a single gun, which is really surprising, considering how much artillery he had at the start. Alright, I think this one's in hand, so unless something else happens, we're going to go ahead and drop out and just see the final totals. Alright, so here we have it. 1,760 casualties on my side. Lost 24 men, but 0 guns in my artillery. Took out 200 guns, 2,300 cavalry, 23,000 infantry. Very happy with that. Looks like we captured 1,000 Spencer repeating rifles. Those will come in handy. Some various other things, some 12-pounder howitzers. That'll do me no good at all. Couldn't care less about those. But 20-pounder Parrots, 4,100 kills, 0 losses. 10-pounders, 3,500. You can see how well that went. Continued to be the artillery and the sharpshooters, paving the way for everybody. So great job all around. That brings us to the Battle of Chickamauga. Looking at a few things now, our 4-inch siege guns have hit 3 stars as a unit, so that's pretty fantastic. We can go with a reduction of 20% reload time and plus 50 on canister damage, or 50% accuracy and 20% effective range. I think I want that for these guns anyway. Looks like we got an upgrade to 2 stars there. Pretty much most of my core units are 2 stars now, but not all. We've got another career point to spend. We're pretty much maxed out everywhere now. I'll probably need to spend some reputation points just so I have somewhere to go with that, but I just don't like any of the things I have to spend. I'd almost rather have the morale boost. So Chickamauga is going to be the fight, and I'm just curious to see, as things stand before I upgrade my army, where we are in terms of what he's got. He's only got 25,000 on the first day. I know we're going to see a lot more than that. But let me know your thoughts about that battle, about the one we just fought, about what you think my strategy should be on the next one. Use that comment section below. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.